Hello folks, Plastic Eric here, Plastic Soundwave Cult, here for a not as hot edition of Collection Connection, the game that's just used to talk about music. It's a game I play with my brother Bryce. Every Monday I show an album from my collection, then Bryce finds a connection to that album in my collection, and then shows an album in his collection. And he does that every Thursday, and then I'll repeat that process every Monday, and you guys get to guess what the connection is. And so the correct answer for the connection between Rock at the Edge and Death Cab for Cutie's The Georgia EP was None Such Ned, and he correctly guessed that the connection was neither one of those were ever put out on CD. I guess it ended up being that it was put on LP and cassette for the Rock at the Edge album, and only a vinyl and streaming version of the Georgia LP was ever made. Neither one of those, even though they're separated by a long time, never had a CD edition of those particular ones made. So congratulations to Ned. Check out his channel if you get a chance. I listened to the Death Cab for Cutie Georgia LP EP. Fuck, I hate the name of that album. I guess it was basically a political album that was put out in honor of, or thanks to, or something like that, to the Georgia Electoral College or offices or whatever, about standing by the fact that Biden was considered the winner of the 2020 election. And so these are 5 covers that they did. Some REM, some TLC, some Neutral Milk, and shit, I forgot their fucking name already. But they do all of these covers from bands that were from Georgia. And basically it breaks down to that I like all the originals better. I went back and forth and listened to all of these, and the Death Cab for Cutie versions seemed a little two-dimensional compared to the originals. In some senses, they slicked them up a little bit, kind of toned them down. Overall, I mean, it's nice sounding, but really didn't tickle my fancy. I don't think this will ever be something that I'll ever actively look for. Not that I'm a huge Death Cab for Cutie fan anyways, but it just breaks down to the fact that their versions of those songs felt a little vanilla to me. So, what did I connect that EP to? Another EP, which is not the connection. And so the album that I connected the Georgia EP to was Hunters and Collectors, Living Daylight, an EP that was put out in 1987 by the Australian band Hunters and Collectors. I don't know any of their other stuff besides this. I have the American version, which contains 5 songs. The original Australian version of this EP only has 3 songs, which was Fireball, Living Daylight, January Rain. And then on the American one, they threw on The Slab and Carry Me, which it calls the Living Daylight remixes. So I don't know if those are remixes of songs that they had done earlier or not. But it's 5 on mine. It's an interesting thing to have it on tape because it does play the same thing on both sides. So I don't know how well you can see the track listing there, because I'm still staying in focus. But on both sides, it repeats it. Oddly enough, this tape does not like to play it on the second side. It always tends to drag. So anytime I play it, I have to basically listen to side one and then rewind it again. Because if I try side two, it won't play in my tape player very well. How that works, I don't know. But definitely, I wouldn't say it's a product of its time, but I would definitely want to say that it had that Australian sound from the 80s that you would find with Midnight Oil, In Excess, or just two of the bands I could think of off the top of my head. But the vocals, I believe the guy's name is Mark Seymour. He had some very rough kind of vocals, very, shouting it out. Makes me think of Joe Strummer from The Clash, but if I really could compare it to another voice, it sounds very similar to me to the lead singer of Idols. And so if you imagine the vocals from Idols and that 80s In Excess Midnight Oil sound without the vocals, just the music, you pretty much have this right here. I actually quite enjoy it quite a bit. It's actually been a while since I pulled it out and listened to it. And so it was good to listen to it again. And I realized that I had not actually digitized this yet, so it got put into my iTunes library and all that kind of stuff. But overall, if you see this, pick it up. It's really good. I think the hit on this was Fireball, was the single. I remember seeing it on MTV, and that's how I ended up buying this tape. And Living Daylight sounds very familiar, like it might have been a single too, but I'm not sure. But overall, January Rain, The Slab, Carry Me, I had to kind of relearn those again. And again, the guy's vocals are very, very rough, but it sounds good with the music. I mean, this is a big band. They got, whenever I see pictures of this, they've got, not only the guitarist, the bassist, the drummer, and the lead singer, but they also have the horn section and probably a keyboard player. But overall, it's a big band for the sound that they come out with. And so with that, I see I'm getting close to my time here. So I'm going to end with Hunters and Collectors, Living Daylight, and hopefully you can figure out